Sharks are big business in adrenaline ecotourism, and some thrill seekers deliberately pursue close encounters with deadly sharks. Divers are pushing the boundaries of human and shark interaction, baiting with fish carcasses and blood, inciting feeding frenzies, all in a quest to get ever closer to creatures that can kill them.
That was f***ing hairy! Jesus Christ!
After an injury ended his career, professional bull rider Eli Martinez founded Shark Diver magazine, and he also organizes excursions for shark enthusiasts. And there's no shark dive more exciting or dangerous than Tiger Beach in the northern Bahamas.
Nautilus Explorer, Nautilus Explorer.
Captain Mike Lever's most popular trips feature encounters with great white sharks. At Mexico's Guadalupe Island, he's trying something completely different, introducing young children to sharks. In 2008, the first tourist on a commercial shark diving expedition was killed by a shark. The death ignited a firestorm of controversy. Shark advocates and shark attack victims Eric Ritter and Chuck Anderson have grave reservations about how far we are willing to go for a thrill. It's reasonable to assume most people would want to avoid sharks, but some scuba divers and snorkelers pay big bucks to get up close and personal with the animals. The bigger and more dangerous the shark, the better. Shark encounters are becoming one of the most popular attractions in the sport, with or without the protection of a cage. We've gone from being very, very afraid of sharks to having an almost cavalier attitude about them. But have we taken shark diving a bit too far? Many scuba divers are asked if they're afraid of sharks. They're frightening creatures to most of us, but for some people, getting close to dangerous sharks is exactly what they're hoping for. Simply swimming in the ocean means we've become part of the food chain. You can say the same about a walk in the woods, but at least we're in our element, above the water. For shark divers, there is something primal and enticing about entering an alien world where sea monsters lurk. Perhaps the best place to scuba dive with one of the most dangerous sharks is in the Atlantic Ocean in a remote corner of the Bahamas. In the tropics, there isn't a bigger or badder predator than the tiger shark. In terms of the number of attacks on humans and fatalities, they are second only to great whites. The largest one ever caught was 24 feet long. It's a contender with the great white as the largest predatory fish in the sea. At West Palm Beach, Florida, Shark Diver magazine publisher Eli Martinez has organized a one-week expedition to the northern Bahamas to scuba dive with big sharks. A former rodeo cowboy, Martinez suffered a career-ending injury shortly after turning professional. He then took his passion for dangerous animals to a new extreme.
I spent 6 years riding bulls and doing the rodeo circuit. And it was on one of my stops when I got my pro permit and I started going to pro events that I cracked my hip. And I was out for 2 months. So I decided to get my diving certification and went on a dive trip, and I'm dropping down and I saw a shark, and that was it. Basically hung up my spurs literally, and I started chasing sharks after that.
Okay, you're clear.
After motoring overnight from the Florida coast and clearing Bahamian immigration, the liveaboard diving vessel Dolphin Dream headed north to remote Tiger Beach. Captain Wayne Smith is credited with discovering Tiger Beach and first introducing scuba divers to tiger sharks.
Well, I've been coming out here 27 years now, and we came to this area and we anchored up because it was a shallow, protected area. Sometimes at night we'd have some dead carcasses and we'd throw them in the water and they'd come up and start feeding on them. And after a while, there's got to be such high demand for people wanting to see tiger sharks that we started running these trips.
Everybody, welcome to Tiger Beach. As you can see, we already have a bunch of lemon sharks swimming around. We prefer everybody dive in twos so that somebody can watch your back while you're in the water. Once you jump in, just keep your hands here. Don't start waving them around or splashing. Other than that, we already got sharks here. The pool is open.
Gotta get in there. This is what we nutty people do. This is what it's for.
Yeah, my jailhouse tat. I didn't actually get it in jail.
Any last words, Neil?
Look after my wife and children.
When I started wearing the hat was to save my hair, and it kind of became my trademark. So I never dive without it. The only time I don't is when it's really, really cold and I gotta wear a hoodie, but I'm still trying to figure out how I can make that work.
Dozens of lemon sharks are a constant presence at Tiger Beach. They're not generally considered aggressive, but they are implicated in over 20 non-fatal attacks on humans. Many sharks, including lemons, can be dangerous given the right conditions. A beautiful animal with piercing cat-like eyes, they are part of the Requiem family, which includes other well-known species such as tiger and blue sharks. The animal everyone is here to see is the tiger shark. Although not endangered, they are very rarely encountered while scuba diving. It takes some time for the tiger sharks to venture in from the fringing coral reef. They seem at first to be relatively uninterested in the divers or the lemon sharks. But on the first dive of the first day, tiger sharks eventually came closer and made their presence known in a big way.
Holy crap. Man, I've done some scary my day, but that one takes the cake. You didn't want to know what was happening behind you. Did they follow me up? I was rolling on one, it came right behind you. Tiger? Yeah, it took a little chew on your tank. There's nothing I could do about it. Oh,
First dive, first day of the trip, I get bumped by 2 or 3 tiger sharks right in the lens, coming right at me.
You were turned away from me, and this big tiger shark came swinging around, and he was coming toward me, and I'm kind of backing off. Then he swung in behind you, and I guess for some reason he decided your tank was something he'd like to investigate, so he went up and he just kind of mouthed it a little bit, and you're oblivious to the whole thing, of course. Those are big, rather impressive looking sharks, I gotta say that.
He really didn't bump anybody else, you know, he just came after your housing and you know, the tiger shark was just looking around for that food. He really couldn't find it. Probably saw the housing, was looking for potentially a meal or something and bumped it. But after that, he found what he was looking for and went after that.
To attract and keep the big sharks close, you have to use bait. A lot of bait. Most divers rarely see sharks. The animals don't make a habit of venturing close to humans with scuba tanks. Breathing compressed air is a noisy affair, and our relatively large size usually scares them away. To the sharks here, however, we're just another big predator down there for the same reason they are, for the food.
We get our fish from the fish market. It's stuff they were going to throw away. We feed that to the sharks, so it's a win-win for everybody. We recycle what they were going to normally throw away in the trash bin.
Go through about 250, 300 pounds of bait per day. You get a variety of bait. A lot of what we get is what the fish houses have left over, heads and backbones after they sell to the restaurants and the public. And then we also get some bait from some of the local fishing boats that get in these bonitas, which are real oily and bloody. And they're not a food fish. Nobody eats them as foods. They make excellent bait.
We constantly have to adapt the way we're feeding them because they're clever little devils. One of the ways we do that is with the wrangling. We tend to get them excited there at the surface. We get the lemons thrashing around because they're so eager to get the bait. And that thrashing around is what's bringing the tigers in these days.
If you want big sharks, you use big bait. We're prepping a grouper head, and what we're going to do is we're going to wrangle in the sharks. We're going to hang this out the back and try to attract the tigers to the boat. We use big heads like this because if we use smaller pieces of fish, well, the sharks will kind of take it away real quick. They got a real thick bone in their heads, so we can last with this one piece of bait, and it'll keep us there for a while. The lemons have kind of dominated this place, but they're definitely smaller in the pecking order. When the tigers come in and they want to feed, you know, there's nothing's going to stop them. The lemons will definitely give them away, especially when a big 12, 14-foot tiger comes in. You know, the lemons will leave and get out of there. The big boss here has got to be the tiger shark, absolutely. You could see here that if a tiger shark can get his lower jaw on the bottom of this crate, I mean, he'll just snap it in half, and that's what he did here. One of the things that we're noticing is that these sharks have a learned behavior, at least the tiger sharks, where we're taking our crates down there and we're hanging them, and the tigers have learned to chew through the ropes that we have these crates hanging from so that they can grab these crates and swim off with them, and at their leisure figure a way to get inside to the bait that we have hanging. And yeah, it's definitely a learned behavior. couple of local Bahamians coming off one of the small islands out there spearfishing. I don't think he knows this is tiger shark infested waters and these guys are out there spearfishing. What do you say about that? That's extreme. That's as gnarly as it gets. Jeez. I love my job.
Another day at the office.
Oh, yeah.
Beach riding bulls, huh?
Are you kidding me? I live for this.
Eli Martinez has found a unique niche in the scuba diving world. His magazine, Shark Diver, appeals to both armchair shark enthusiasts and to those looking for a slightly more hands-on approach.
After the magazine started, the reader trips kind of evolved. People started asking us, where do we go diving? Maybe they can meet up with us, or when's our next adventure? I organized our first shark trip, and it worked really well, and we had a blast. Out there in the real world, you know, you tell someone you're a shark diver, and everybody thinks you're crazy. Here, all these crazy people can get together, and no one thinks you're crazy anymore.
Martinez frequently dives with aggressive sharks and has many hair-raising video clips from his expeditions. Mako sharks are particularly fast and frightening and have very sharp teeth.
Well, here you can see the bite marks. This is actually after my last Mako shark dive. Makos are one of the few sharks that don't bump divers with a mouth closed. They actually go at divers mouth open. You can see the gouges from sharks as they really bite into the glass.
As the week progressed, the action at Tiger Beach ramped up, way up. Aggressive baiting and chumming were perhaps a bit too successful. A handful of tiger sharks became increasingly more bold. Eli had to eventually use his camera as a defensive tool to protect some of the divers. Sharks don't have hands or fingers, so they sometimes ram or nudge objects out of curiosity. And in worst-case scenarios, they may take an exploratory bite.
This is what it's all about. This is what you hope for, you know?
That was f***ing hairy. Jesus Christ.
I may have drifted into the other divers that were there, but I turned around and I'm looking straight at the face of a tiger shark, and he wasn't a small one either.
Those sharks came in, they came in hard, and it was intense. It got hairy there for a little while.
I think Eli was trying to come in to protect me because I'm filming one and this other one comes in. It got extremely hairy.
That's what you really want. You know, everybody came back, nobody got hurt, and everybody's got a big smile on their face.
Reviewing his tape after the last dive at Tiger Beach, Eli's video camera revealed an encounter that could have seriously gone wrong. This is one sequence destined for the highlight reel.
There we go. Yeah. 1, 2, oh, 3, and again, and again. Gnarly, man. Talk about pucker factor. That is what shark diving's all about. That's what extreme shark diving is all about.
That was an outstanding dive, absolutely outstanding. Tigers, 4 tigers, nipping at the tanks, biting the cage, the food cage, outstanding. That's what it's all about. That's why we came out here. So, huge adrenaline rush, huge.
Shark divers are a very small but growing community in the scuba diving world. They are a passionate group and many are staunch advocates for shark conservation. But are they crazy? And do they take their hobby a bit too far?
It's exciting to get in and watch a shark in its natural habitat. And I did a lot of reef diving in that, and it kind of got boring after a while, and kind of wanted to start getting to the big stuff and get a little excitement back into it.
It's partly an adrenaline rush, but it goes a lot farther than that.
It's hard to describe until you've actually dove with one or swam with one. They're just such beautiful animals. They're so graceful and powerful.
You know, the more you know about them, the less you fear them. And diving with tiger sharks is great.
I have done skydiving, I have done some mountain climbing, I do mountain biking, but nothing compares to it. Nothing compares to shark diving and that intense adrenaline rush you get when you first see a big shark in the water, much less 10 or 15.
I've been diving for a lot of years in a lot of different places, and I've experienced a lot of different kinds of sharks. But tiger sharks are right up there in the pucker factor. I mean, first big one you see, it's like, whoa.
Shark divers have a need for a little adrenaline rush, and you can kind of see it during these shark dives. If it's a real mellow shark dive, they're not real excited. But boy, when the sharks get excited, the people get excited.
You take someone that's never been in the water with a shark before, that has a positive experience in the water, they're going to come out as shark advocates, and they're going to be fighting for these animals, and they're going to talk about them in a different light. And that's extremely important because, you know, the world still looks at sharks as the only good shark is a dead shark. At the end of my days, you know, I would love to look back in my life and say, you know what, I saved a bunch of sharks. I did my part, and some sharks are still swimming out in the ocean.
The number one species on every shark diver's list is the great white. And there's no better place on Earth to find them than Mexico's Guadalupe Island. There's no doubt sharks have an image problem. Razor-sharp teeth, the icy stare, bloody feeding frenzies. It's no wonder they've earned such a woeful reputation. And after all, they do occasionally kill people. No species has worse public relations issues than great whites. And no sharks are more popular with shark divers. About 250 miles west of Mexico's Baja Peninsula is the remote volcanic island of Guadalupe. From the port city of Ensenada, it's a journey of nearly 24 hours on the open ocean to reach Guadalupe. Approaching the intimidating coastline of the island, the first order of business is to prepare the shark cages.
Keep lots of tension on that line, okay? This is the one that's like a jigsaw puzzle. Here we go. That's it. Just rotate it around a little bit more, please. About 1,000 pounds of cage that we're lifting here. In open ocean with a wee bit of a swell going. My goodness. Just beautiful here. We put the cages in at night as soon as we get here. We like to get everything all organized and in the water just in case there's any kind of problems. It's nice to get everything tied up and to get the chum slicks started and make sure that the white sharks know that we're here and we're ready for business at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Guadalupe is an arid and desolate outpost in the open Pacific. Towering cliffs and rugged mountains rise over 4,000 feet from sea level. 19th century whalers brought goats to Guadalupe as a source of fresh meat. The animals multiplied as intended and eventually destroyed most of the island's flora and fauna. Today, some of the few original inhabitants that remain are fur seals, sea lions, and elephant seals. And life here must be harsh. This is the realm of the great white. In the late 1990s, long-range fishing boats targeting tuna near Guadalupe began reporting that great whites were attacking their catches. Word spread like a chum slick.
Come on, here he comes. Oh, beautiful. Oh! The industry started here in 2000 when a boat called the Horizon showed up, and they had heard stories about sport fishing boats not being able to bring their fish in because the white sharks were taking all the tuna. More white sharks than anyone had seen anywhere. So we came down here on a whim. I wanted to see white sharks off the back of the boat. But we got down here, I jumped in the water, I saw these enormous, beautiful sharks. I couldn't believe how fantastic they were. It was just an amazing experience. And at that point, I knew that I wanted to keep on doing this. It was just no question in my mind. And we ramped up from 2 trips that first year to 9 to 10 trips a year.
Like the sharks at Tiger Beach, great whites at Guadalupe need to be coaxed with bait. And nothing piques their interest like tuna.
Shark baiting 101. You make it smelly, you make it bloody, you make it oily, you get all this good, yummy stuff. You mix it up with your fingers and scrunch it up to get lots of blood. You make sure that you use animals that are endemic to the islands, mackerel and tuna. And we started chum slick. We do it in a very non-invasive way, but we make it as smelly and yucky as we possibly can. One way to make sure that your chum is nice and fresh. Take a little bit of chum just like this, and we'll see what the mackerel in the water do. Oh, look at that. Seagulls, mackerel, and a feeding frenzy. That is fresh tuna. Ready to go. Okay.
It's one thing to see a great white on television or from the safe confines of a boat. It's another experience entirely to see the animals in their natural element. There simply isn't a single creature on Earth that we're more afraid of.
I just couldn't believe how big they are and how beautiful they are. I mean, they're not at all ferocious looking. They look like they're smiling at you until they open their mouth.
Captain Mike Lever has 2 young children with a keen interest in sharks, and he's now trying something completely different, introducing kids to white sharks. The inaugural children's trip at Guadalupe included 3 kids from Mexico and Mike and Marianne Lever's own children, Charlie and Emily.
What's your name?
Ernesto.
It's heavy. I know it's heavy, but once you get in the water, you won't really feel it. It's just going to help you sink a little. How does that feel?
Down there. How many sharks do you think you're going to see?
Supply? It's salty.
It's what?
Salty.
Yes, it's salty. It is a little bit salty.
Where to go?
All the way down. Go.
It didn't take long for the children to get the hang of breathing from a regulator. And once they started spotting sharks, the biggest challenge was dragging the kids out of the water.
Shark coming in, left to right.
I don't recall what I was doing at 6 years old, but it wasn't diving with white sharks. I think it was like riding my tricycle around the street or something like that.
Well done. That was great. Charlie, it's someone else's turn now, okay? I know Charlie did not want to come up.
Every time a shark would come by, Charlie would be the first guy to go, oh, there's a shark right over there. He just did a fantastic job. I am so proud of him. I think he's just had an experience that he's never, ever going to forget.
I don't think any of them have had any trepidation at all. It's been fantastic. They've been in the cages, they've seen the sharks, they've tried to help out on the boat, they want to throw the bait, they want to do everything. I mean, that's, you know, if they go and tell 10 kids and 10 more kids, it can't be any better than that.
I saw 4.
Were you getting cold at all?
Nope.
Not at all?
Nope.
I was freezing. I wanted to come out. She didn't want to come out. I gotta go to the bathroom. And she won't come out. And I kept saying up. She's like, no. Up? No.
Muy bien, mija. Pues vámonos para afuera.
We brought some kids out here. We're just wrapping the trip, and it succeeded beyond my wildest expectation. Every kid, every one of them, got in the cages, ended up spending hours and hours in the cages. We had to drag these shivering little 5- and 6-year-olds out of the water after an hour or two because they didn't want to come up. They just loved watching the sharks going by. And I can't wait to find out what happens when they get home and they start telling their friends.
Dr. Mauricio Hoyos is fascinated with great whites. There's no permanent research facilities on the island, so he teams up with tour boats as a ship's naturalist. He's particularly excited to be working on this inaugural children's trip.
When I was a kid, I remember that we went to the United States and my father gave me $20 and he told me, okay, this is all the money that I'm going to give you. You have to buy a lot of toys or whatever you want. And there was this small shark and it was $20. I bought it because I really wanted it. And my father was really upset because he told me, hey, that's all your money. You have to, you can buy a lot of different toys. No, I want that toy and I still have it. Because since I was a little kid, I loved sharks. When I saw the first shark, it was like the dream of my life came true. It was amazing. It was a huge female, maybe 4 meters long. And since then, I have been working here on this island every autumn.
To gain a better understanding of the sharks' local movements and their long-distance migrations, Mauricio utilizes high-tech tools such as satellite tags and acoustic transmitters. These devices reveal startling data about how deep the sharks travel in search of prey. He's observed that smaller great whites at Guadalupe eat mainly tuna, rays, and other sharks, while the older and larger white sharks eat seals and sea lions. It would be extremely hazardous to acquire DNA samples or to implant transmitting devices in open water. Free swimming with great whites would be a challenge and a bit risky.
Okay, Jorge, shark, bring it. Put it right here. Okay, excellent.
Outfitted with an acoustic or satellite tag, the sharks reveal their depths, migratory movements and locations, and even water temperatures. At Guadalupe, Mauricio uses acoustic technology to track local sharks. The white sharks at Guadalupe spend more than half of the year away from the island in open water between California and Hawaii. But what they're doing way out there remains a mystery. A few great whites have been satellite tracked to a remote region in the middle of the Pacific dubbed the Great White Cafe. It's thought that thousands of the sharks congregate each year at the mysterious spot. Whether they're mating, chasing tuna, or even giving birth, no one is sure. For such a remarkably well-known creature, we actually know very little about them. But Mauricio Hoyos is determined to find out more.
Well, the shark is not here. Maybe we can go a little bit to the north. Okay?
With the luxury of well-appointed tour boats and their state-of-the-art shark cages, Mauricio can also observe the sharks underwater. Photo ID is another tool in the young researcher's arsenal. Each shark has unique markings, scars, and patterns. With a bit of luck, Hoyos will have many more seasons at Guadalupe to answer some of the questions surrounding these intriguing animals. Guadalupe is a protected biosphere of Mexico, but with minimal funding or monitoring of the waters surrounding the island, the sharks are under constant threat from poachers. A set of mature white shark fins can fetch upwards of $25,000, and an intact jaw is an extremely valuable prize. It's an uphill battle convincing impoverished fishermen or foreign fishing fleets that white sharks here are more valuable alive than dead.
I love these animals, I really do. These white sharks are amazing. In the last 3 days, I've had my 5-year-old son and my 7-year-old daughter in the water with them, and it was just a thrill. And I can only hope that the sharks are still going to be here for them and for their kids and their kids' kids. Nothing could have given me a greater thrill than to have spent an hour and a half in the water with Charlie this morning, having him point out the white sharks to me. I'm very, very fearful that we're seeing the end of these and that even 5 years from now or 10 years from now, there won't be any sharks left.
If you don't relish an open ocean encounter with a big shark, you can now scuba dive or snorkel with them in Atlanta's Georgia Aquarium. One of the best places to snorkel or scuba dive with sharks is, surprisingly, the Georgia Aquarium. It's the #1 tourist attraction in Atlanta, and their 8 million gallon pool is now open. Divers and snorkelers can experience a fisheye view of their immense Ocean Voyager exhibit, home to some very interesting sharks.
The purpose of aquariums across the country, around the world, really is to inspire people to connect with nature. We want to take it to the next level. When you come to the Georgia Aquarium, you're guaranteed to see whale sharks and hammerheads and zebra sharks. It's one thing to look through a window, through glass to the animals. It's another thing to be able to get in the water, to be in their environment, to understand what it's like to be an animal in the ocean. If we can get people in there, they become conservationists. They care more.
In the summer of 2008, the Georgia Aquarium opened its main exhibit to scuba divers and snorkelers. The first groups to sign up provided a behind-the-scenes look at their experience.
Well, the first order of business is we're going to vote somebody off this island, okay? And I have immunity, so you guys have to look at each other and decide who you're going to vote off, okay?
A thorough briefing covers safety issues for both the divers and the animals. Species identification, site orientation, and a short video are all part of the experience.
The tunnel and all the windows are made of acrylic material. Are you ready to go diving? Yes, sir! All right.
State-of-the-art scuba gear is prepared for the divers, but there's still one more briefing.
I'm going to run through a few things real quick just to give you a general idea of what's going on in our exhibit today. Also to give you a few guidelines for your safety and for the safety of our animals.
It is a rare treat indeed to scuba dive in an aquarium. Only a handful of facilities around the world allow the general public such intimate access to their exhibits.
Just pretty excited about it. I just hope they fed the sharks.
Many of the participants in the first few days of the program were celebrating birthdays or were signed up by friends or relatives as a gift. Others viewed it simply as a once-in-a-lifetime experience, not to be missed.
Okay.
I love you. That's great. Yes. Good birthday present. You know, it's disconcerting to see your daughter at the bottom of a really large tank of water with a lot of fish. That looked kind of scary.
Although there are many unusual sharks in the Ocean Voyager exhibit, none are as immense or impressive as the whale shark. And there's not just one, there's 4, each the size of a small bus.
It was unbelievable. You know, you dive in the ocean and you have all this beautiful wildlife around you, but it's dispersed. It's kind of a condensed version of all the dives I think I've done before.
It's just an incredible experience to have that much wildlife all confined around you at one time. It's just exhilarating as heck.
That was unbelievable. It was not like anything I've ever done before. I've done a lot of diving, but this is the bomb here.
Scuba divers aren't the only people allowed to swim in the Ocean Voyager exhibit. Each day, a group of snorkelers goes through much of the same routine. But instead of descending to the bottom of the tank, they stay at the surface.
Check that off the bucket list. Swam with dolphins, now with whale sharks. That's good. Perfect. Gotta squeeze them in. I'm 69 already.
In an aquarium, they're all well fed. There's no threat, there's no worry. They look at you, they ignore you. It's a great feeling, especially for a cameraman who doesn't have to worry about getting nipped in the open ocean. This is a great place. This is where I'm doing all my filming from now on.
Even though most shark dives are relatively safe, 2 prominent shark advocates think we may be taking things a bit too far. And they both survived brutal shark attacks. Dr. Eric Ritter has helped to dramatically change the popular perception of sharks from bloodthirsty killers to vital animals that need our protection. A leading authority on shark behavior, Ritter has spent thousands of hours in the water with sharks. He also devotes much of his time to forensic investigation of attacks, or as he prefers to call them, shark accidents. And Eric has intimate knowledge of the subject. After thousands of interactions with dangerous sharks, his luck finally ran out. In 2002, while filming a television special, he nearly died after a large bull shark bit his leg. Although he certainly pushed his luck many times, Ritter has serious reservations about how far some shark divers are now willing to go for a thrill.
When we go back to the early days of shark diving, you know, we were feeding the reef sharks and everybody was pretty much happy. But in the last few years, these adrenaline junkies, they want more, bigger and faster. And you know, now everybody seems to want to dive with tiger sharks, white sharks, big bull sharks, but it's not a safe scenario. In my opinion, it has gone way too far. It's not a question about if it ever happens, it's a question of when does it happen. And who will be blamed? The sharks.
Back home in Florida, one of Eric's new endeavors is the Shark Accident Victims Network. There's a growing need for psychological counseling of bite victims. And today, Ritter's traveling to neighboring Alabama to meet a potential mentor and fellow shark attack victim, Chuck Anderson.
Hey, Chuck. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? Nice to meet you, finally.
Same here, finally, huh?
Doing okay?
Yeah, how about yourself?
Doing well.
A champion triathlete, Chuck Anderson was swim training for a national competition when a brutal encounter with a bull shark forever changed his life.
It was 6:38 a.m. in the morning, and I took about 2 more strokes in the water, and about that time, boom, it hit me from the bottom. And I started looking around, treading water, and I put my face down in the water, and when I did, it was coming up from the bottom at me. And I just instinctively threw my hands out to push off of him, and when I did, he took all 4 fingers off my right hand, and all that was left was my thumb. Just like a surgeon's scalpel, it just cut them off clean. There was no pain at that stage of the game, so the fin actually was coming through the water at me. But as soon as he got past me, he was attached to my arm, and he immediately took me to the bottom. It was about 15 feet of water, and he went into that feeding frenzy where he was just gnashing from side to side and dragging me across the bottom and on the sand. All of a sudden, my feet started dragging the sand, and I wiggled out from underneath him, and when I did, I pulled real hard, and my arm just stripped off in his mouth, and I fell backwards into about thigh-high water and ran immediately to the beach, and knew that I was a very fortunate man when I got there. I had a big smile on my face, and the lady asked me what I was laughing at, and I said, Karen, I ought to be dead. I'm lucky.
A handful of high-profile shark attacks in 2008 created the usual media frenzy. But the death of the first tourist who actually paid for the privilege of scuba diving with sharks created a firestorm of controversy. Have we finally taken things too far?
To go to the extreme of trying to challenge the sharks, trying to bait the sharks to come around people and to pay money to do this, it's just not natural. I mean, if you're not educated in exactly what you're doing and you're a novice at it, then you're taking a risk. I'm not in favor of it. Each to his own. If somebody wants to get into it, then be aware of what the consequences could be, because I promise you, when a shark gets a hold of you, it's not a good experience.
This was the first fatality in our sport, and it's just something, you know, all of us hope never happens again. I think it made all of us more aware of what could happen. Accidents will change any industry. It makes, you know, us as shark operators more careful with our clients, with our friends, with the people we take in the water. I don't think shark diving has been taken too far. In fact, I don't even think we've scratched the surface yet. There's still a lot of things left to do in the water with these animals. Still a lot of things left to learn, to see. I'm just tickled and excited to be part of that and to be part of helping to push the sport to the next level.
If personal experience leads to empathy and better understanding, there's no question that diving with sharks is a good thing. And even with more scuba divers encountering more sharks, the frequency of attacks has not increased. Whether shark divers are crazy adrenaline junkies, enlightened conservationists, or both, there's no denying their passion for these threatened animals. Many people still share the notion that the only good shark is a dead one. The problem today is that there are far too many dead sharks, and the remaining population is struggling to survive. And if sharks are to survive, we must all become advocates on their behalf.